what's it called? Corona!
I wanna run away, get away from this mess. My head's going round, just thinking of nothing. Hey, welcome to the WOAFM99 Radio Show. A fantastic new episode today. We've got Danny Marcus joining me live in the studio. Danny just hit the singer-songwriter charts in the UK. He came in at number 3, I believe, which is absolutely fantastic for an independent artist to hit number 3 on the singer-songwriter charts with some big-name acts like George Ezra and all these guys, and this is an independent artist. Usually, independent artists compete in, genres like, which are more easier to break into. But singer-songwriter, pop, rock, these are tough genres to break into. And to get into the top 20 or top 40, let alone the top 10, is just quite amazing for an independent artist. And Danny Marcus did just that. WOA is a very proud supporter of Danny Marcus. He's on our various commercial campaigns and things like that. So congratulations to him. He's joining me today live in the studio. So don't tune out, okay? He's in the middle of the show. So we've got some 4 certified indie songs of the week before the interview kicks in, and then we got another 4 great songs after that. So stick around for the whole show. Nobody ever regrets sticking in for the entire show on WOAFM99, which is why we're on season 23 now, which is pretty cool. So without further ado, here are the certified indie songs of the week that have made it into the show. So kicking the show off, we've got Girona City Boy. Okay, that's the name of the artist, Girona City Boy. And he is a British artist, okay? He's from Manchester, and the name of the song is Manchester. Now, this is like a British punk, Sex Pistols, but a bit more modern. It's that kind of sound. I really like it. Very, very upbeat and very rocky, and I just like the sound. It's very cool. I must say, it is authentic British music, and I think you guys are going to love it. It's really cool. So he kicks the show off for us. And then we've got Roccy Leonne with his song Dirty Diana. Again, a very cool sort of R&B urban song, very modern song. And when an independent artist makes a high-end song or puts in all his effort and time and is a perfectionist with his music, it turns out like this, and it is a proud moment for supporters of independent music when you got a high-end track from an independent act that can compete with $1 million song by some of the manufactured artists, who have got 25 producers and 85 songwriters. You know who I'm talking about. And their song sounds just all right. And then you got an independent artist who's doing it in his bedroom or spending all his money going to the studio, buying some studio time, bringing in some great musicians and a good engineer and a good producer, and comes out with something like this, so it's really awesome. And these are the kinds of artists that we like to support on WOAFM99, like Girona City Boy, Roccy Leonne, and after that we've got Scott MacPherson. Now Scott is an engineer in Nashville. He's a recording engineer in Nashville, but he's also a songwriter and producer for his own music, and this one is called I've Got a Woman. Now this song is going to be on the Independent Number Ones Volume 13, which is going to be available for pre-order in the end of May. Yeah, it'll be released sometime in June. But speaking of independent number ones, the Goa Chill Out Zone Volume 12 is just around the corner. It's been making the rounds with all commercial terrestrial radio and retail outlets. That's what we do before the album actually releases for public. So, which is sort of the deal with the terrestrial radio. They want it before it goes digital. You know what I mean? So that they can say, "Oh, we broke it first." That's what it is. But nobody breaks it first better than WOAFM99, I'll tell you that. Yeah. So we've got some great artists joining me on the show very soon with songs that people have not heard anywhere else before. Everybody seems to, all independent artists that I know and who contact us, want their songs to be premiered on WOAFM99. I'm not just saying this. This is actually the truth now, because when we play a song on the show and introduce them and have an interview, their music hits the charts. I kid you not, on iTunes, on Amazon, some even go as far as the Billboard charts and the official UK national charts. And speaking of the UK national charts, we just had the World Beat Project hit number 82 on the official top 100 in the UK, the top 100 albums in the UK. Now, this is competing with the biggest names in the industry and the biggest record labels in the industry across genres like pop and rock and alternative. We're talking about all the major artists. You name a major artist and they're on that top 100. And guess what? The World Beat Project, produced by me, featuring 6 breakthrough independent artists, guys you've not heard of before, have made it into the top 100 of the UK national charts. Now that is something to celebrate, I'll tell you, for independent music. And a lot of those artists, we've been playing them a lot on the show. They'll be joining me again. Quite a few of them will be in conversation. Right, so after Scott MacPherson, we've got Don Preach. Now, Don has been on the show with us before, and he's scheduled to be on our independent number ones again. So quite a few amazing acts that we discover on WOAFM99 end up on our compilations, which is good for them, because these compilations, I kid you not, they hit number 1 and number 2 on the iTunes UK charts and the Amazon UK charts. This is huge for an independent compilation album. After Don Preach, with About the Magic, by the way, which is another great, easy listening, sort of nice feeling sound. I quite like Don Preach's music. We did introduce Don Preach, I think it was last episode or the episode before. This is one of his newer songs. So after Don Preach, Danny Marcus joins us live in the studio, all the way from New Jersey, America. And we're going to talk about all his beautiful songs. We've introduced 2 songs now by Danny Marcus, which is 17 Again and California, 2 of my favorite songs from his EP, which is called Pieces of Me. And today, we're going to give you the title track. As soon as the interview is over, we're going to introduce Pieces of Me on the WOAFM99 radio show. So after Danny Marcus and Pieces of Me, we've got a band called Ferni. Okay, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Ferni. And this is their song called All These Catapults. Now, this is very rock alternative. It almost has a Green Day sort of feel. So I wouldn't call it punk rock. I would call it more alternative rock. Or even just rock. Very high energy. I love it. It's really cool. So after Ferni, we've got Sky Rains. I love the name of this band, Sky Rains. And the song is called Everlast. Now, this is very pop, almost like, you know, Peter Gabriel. Got an old school feel where people would take risks with the arrangements. And I'm glad to see that bands are still doing that, you know, taking risks, because that's what music is all about, taking a journey, you know. So many artists, especially manufactured acts nowadays, it's just A to B to C, and that's it, you know. You don't go from A, take a journey to Y, come back to B, then go to H, and then come to C, if you get my metaphor. And this band does that, and I love it. It's all about, oh my God, he went from here to there, and then he's come back. You know, it's a journey. I love that kind of thing with arrangements and production. After Sky Rains, last but not least on the show, is an artist called Terry Dean. The song is called Meal for One. And it's kind of like a country or American roots, you know, folk rock. I wouldn't call it rock, but it's more Americana, you know, that kind of feel. So, a lot of people in the industry would call it country. But then again, it's not got too much of an old school sort of country arrangement, but the sound is written as a country song, I think. We will get Terry Dean maybe on the show someday, and he'll explain to us what was his thought process behind the production of that song. And that's it for today. I hope you enjoy the show. Join us next week when we have a fantastic artist who hit number 1 recently on the charts. It's Arthur Bod, who's going to join me next week, so stay tuned for that. Oliver Sean signing out. Ciao.
Left 20 years ago, but still think it's a cool city. Yeah, bad stuff happens, and that's just a pity. Some think it's all industrial and cotton milling, and it gets bad press when it has a killing, but it just keeps getting right back on. Nothing stops it, not even a bomb. Manchester, Manchester, the city is Manchester, Manchester. Some of the people are, but that doesn't matter. Cause in Manchester it's what we make us. The buzz of the city, the ambience around. We're off out and we're going downtown. Shopping in Affleck's, walking down Dean's Gate. Going with our kid, Mrs. and her best mates. Visit your auntie as she puts on the kettle. Happy to see maybe stay for tea. To the uninitiated, that's dinner for me. Manchester, Manchester, this city is Manchester, Manchester. Some of the people are but that doesn't matter. 'Cause in Manchester it's what we make us. If you're hungry, have some scran. Spinning fields on the northern quarter. Go with your friends, your mum, your nan, or even your daughter. Fancy something Asian, we've got curry mile. It's all oriental, it'll put a face to your smile. But if you've gotta rush home to get your hats and coats, it's gotta be Baltic for us to take notes. Yes, it's got a few Richard heads, met a couple today. But it's still a great city, though the weather is grey. Well, this is Manchester, we're on the up. We got sport and the Gallaghers, who never shut up. Manchester, Manchester, this city is Manchester, Manchester. Some of the people are but that doesn't matter. 'Cause in Manchester it's what we make us. You can visit the village, which brings pride to the city. People are tolerant, humorous and gritty. So you see Manchester has lots to offer. Nightlife, shopping, music and sport. And it's a great place to study, cultivating thinkers and thoughts. Manchester, Manchester, this city is Manchester, Manchester. Some of the people are but that doesn't matter. 'Cause in Manchester it's what we make us.
Ooh, authentic.
Dirty Diana, Dirty Diana. Sexy look from Atlanta, that's Dirty Diana. Dirty Diana. Got the body of a dancer. Dirty Diana, that's what they call her. Sexy look from Atlanta, only looking for ballers. Rock a different Birkin every day. Never had a job to stay paid. All these other throwing shade, cause she shining all in their face. Got a lot of friends, but all of them fake. They only around cause they know treat the palm of her hands like a plate. Searching for love in all the wrong places. Disappear when wallets get vacant. After that she finds a new favorite. She like shopping sprees and vacations. That's Dirty Diana, Dirty Diana. Got the body of a dancer. Always ready for the camera. Hair dreaded all natural. Most people can't fathom that beauty such as this truly exists. Only lies are dispersed from her lips, but you're hypnotized by the swell of her hips. Hey, Dirty Diana, Dirty Diana. Sexy look from Atlanta, that's Dirty Diana. Dirty Diana. Got the body of a dancer. Dirty Diana, Dirty Diana. Sexy look from Atlanta, that's Dirty Diana. Dirty Diana. She likes some tall, dark, and handsome. She likes some tall, dark, and handsome. With the most authentic of fashion. She will hold your heart for ransom. She comes with destruction and sadness. Shows up looking like an angel. Even has the smile to match it. So you put all your cards on the table. Find out your queen, paired up with your ace. You just bought a Lambo and got her a Range Rover. Now you can't say so, but right in your face. She's telling you lies with tears in her eyes. You don't wanna hit her, so you go outside. Load up the chopper, pull up on your partner, then pop. Got the news from the doc. She claims it's insurance. A new story starts. That's Dirty Diana. Dirty Diana. Dirty Diana. Sexy look from Atlanta. That's Dirty Diana. Dirty Diana. Got the body of a dancer. Dirty Diana. Dirty Diana. Sexy look from Atlanta. That's Dirty Diana. Dirty Diana. likes him tall, dark, and handsome. Dirty Diana, sexy look from Atlanta. Got the body of a dancer. She likes him tall, dark, and handsome. Dirty Diana, sexy look from Atlanta. Got the body of a dancer. She likes him tall, dark, and handsome. That's dirty Diana. That's dirty Diana. That's dirty Diana.
At Summer Lake, being wild, cool
find sand beneath our feet. Feel the sun shining in the sky as we hear the breeze blowing through the trees. Now the storms will come and they will pass, but it's moments like this that will always last. In the heart, in the mind, deep in our souls, that's how we rock, and that's how we know where the hope is. Punches, holding on to wonder, passion and thunder. We remember the magic we held in our hearts as we sang about the magic in a song. 'Cause we'll need a little magic when it's cold. So remember the magic and never let go. We should never let go. And keep singing la da da da, la da da da, la da da, la da dee da. Oh, la da. It's about the magic. A baby cries and children play as we say our thanks for a brand new day. Walk with friends at her side as we take the time to enjoy the ride. Well, we know one day the clouds will come, but it ain't gonna stop us now from having fun. 'Cause there's faith in the heart and it makes us bold, and that's why we rock, and that's how we know where the love is. When we're lonely in the trenches, working for the wonder, passion and thunder. We remember the magic we held in our hearts as we sang about the magic in a song. 'Cause we'll need a little magic when it's cold. So remember magic and never let go. We should never let go. And keep singing la da da da, la da da da, la da da, la da dee da. Oh, la da. It's about the magic. It's about the magic. We never let go. Sing about the magic. On and on. When we grab onto the wonder, passion and thunder. We remember
It's about the magic.
Okay. Right, folks, so today I've got a very special guest. He just hit the top 3, the top 5 in the UK on the singer-songwriter charts and the top 40 across all genres in the top 40 of the UK, official UK charts on iTunes, okay? And it's none other than Danny Marcus. Danny, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm good. How does it feel to finally hit the official UK charts? This is huge, man.
Yeah, it feels great. It happened pretty quickly, and it's just it's a pretty amazing achievement. What can I say? I was excited to hear, and I hope it continues.
Excellent. Also, we just got news that your song has been added into rotation on terrestrial radio across South America and Central America. So essentially now your song is playing in Brazil, Costa Rica, Argentina, Cuba, Peru. That's freaking great, isn't it? It's really awesome.
That's amazing.
I love it.
That's amazing. I got to get a tour organized.
You got to get a tour, man. I did a tour of Costa Rica, and I canceled Colombia last minute because I was a bit scared to go, to be honest. And so I did Costa Rica though, and I was going to do Mexico and all that. I'll wait a little till the drug wars have calmed down. So hopefully, hey, we can do it together, man. We can do it together, huh? We can both go.
Let's do it.
Let's do
whatever
it.
you want.
Now there are 2 songs on your album. Your album is called Pieces of Me. Okay, folks, if you haven't downloaded it, you need to do it now because this is a top album in the UK right now on the singer-songwriter charts. Danny's in the top 5, the top 10. He's still in there, and the top 40 of all genres. So you will find that album. But there are 2 songs in particular that I really like, and I've played on the show already. 17 Again, right? And California. Mm-hmm. Now, can you tell me a little more about 17 Again? What's it all about?
So, I guess on the surface, 17 Again is kind of a song about kind of reminiscing, thinking about how you might do things differently if you could go back. There's that kind of hook that repeats if you were 17 again, or if I was 17 again. And there's a little bit of nostalgia there, the hairspray and the Walkman and the red checkered flannel, what I mean? It's going back to my nostalgic high school days, I guess.
Nice.
So that's kind of what it is on the surface, but really, to me, it's a song about just being young inside. And that, when if you keep kind of dreaming and keep working towards whatever it is you really want to achieve in life, which for me is music, essentially, then you're always 17. You're 17 inside.
Excellent.
That kind of drive and dream is what keeps you young.
Oh, that's a great message, man. I totally agree with that mindset. It's really cool. And there's another song that I actually fell in love with even more than 17 Again is what grabbed our attention. Okay, like who's this guy? I mean, you've not heard of him, and it sounds amazing, and he's independent, and wow, But there's another song that I totally fell in love with. It was California. Like I'm a big fan of the beach, and you remember what I said, right? When I was talking about your song,
I do.
Then I introduced it. The thing with me is most of my earlier songs were all based around the beach. It was a girl and me on a motorbike by the beach. That was what it was all about. But so when I heard California, I'm like, bro, that takes me right back to those days. Hanging out in Goa, in Portugal, by the beach. It's just fantastic. So how did that song come about? Because you live in New Jersey, right? Now I don't really know much about. Well, there is the Jersey Shore, right? But I'm sure you didn't really write California. You didn't write California about the Jersey Shore, obviously. So why California? Nope. Why California?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I'm not exactly sure. I was thinking about some years ago, many years ago, 10, 15 years ago, maybe a little more. I spent a summer in California, in LA. And I think this song was written 2 years ago during COVID time. So, it was definitely kind of thinking back to that time, thinking
yeah.
back to being young and in love and having a romance that was also young and kind of just driving around and exploring LA, the hills, and the beach.
Yeah, you talked about the muscle beach, man. Where they work out and everything. And I remember that so well, and I was like, oh, I know that part.
And that time in your life where the future is kind of wide open and anything is possible. That was kind of what just kind of spurred that, I guess, inspiration for that song, and thinking about, in California, that's kind of what the beach vibe and LA is about, that kind of hope, that like sunny, positive vibe.
Oh yeah.
Even though I'm an East Coast guy, but there's something definitely unique to that kind of beach, California, LA vibe.
Yeah, I totally get that. I totally get that. So Danny, if you were to choose one more single from your album, which one would it be? I mean, all the songs are good. Okay, that's the reason that whole EP has hit the top of the charts. But if you had to choose the third single, like I've chosen 17 Again in California, but in your opinion, what would be the third single?
Okay. Yeah, I think Pieces of Me, it being like the title track and everything, it's got a little bit more of a rock vibe, but, and kind of represents the album as a whole, the concept of all these pieces of you that kind of come together to make who you are. I think it's a great, catchy song. Like I can see, turn that up while you're driving somewhere with the top down, kind of singing at the top of your lungs, Pieces of Me. I think it make a good single.
Excellent. So that's what we're going to do today on the show. We're going to play Pieces of Me once the interview is done. So folks, don't tune off, because Pieces of Me is going to come up, and that is the title track to Danny's top of the charts album. So you got to listen to that song. So Danny, tell us more about how did you get into music? When did you get into music?
I started, I guess, singing in a band when I was probably 12 or 13. I joined the kind of local middle school band, was looking for a singer.
Right.
And I knew the bass player, and he said, "Oh, Danny can sing," because I had done like theater. I had done some musical theater and stuff with my father, who was directing like local theater and high school plays and stuff. So I tried out for the band, singing Tone Loc's "The Wild Thing" of all things. I don't even know if you know what that is, but it's not even a song that is sung.
But I know Wild Thing. I know Wild. Is that related to the Wild Thing song?
It may have had the same like sample, but it was a rap song.
Oh, okay.
It was a rap song, but you imagine like 4 13-year-olds sitting around my buddy Jade's basement. Well, what do you know? Well, what do you know? I know Wild Thing. I know. So we jammed on that, but more importantly, we hit it off. And
cool.
I joined the band, and I had been from then. Me and my best friend Jade, who was the guitar player, drummer, and then became the guitar player. We were in bands all throughout high school together. Then we went our separate ways at college, and I did some music at my school, which was in Washington, D.C. He did his thing in Michigan. And then after college, we immediately came back to Jersey and said, all right, let's do this for real. Let's try to do this for real, at least.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah.
Got a band together. Yeah, made a demo, gigged for 2 to 3 years in the city. And yeah, never stopped writing.
Nice.
And playing.
What was the band called?
We were called Karma Zoo.
Karma Zoo. Interesting.
Yeah.
Why Karma Zoo?
Yeah, we had a pretty eclectic lineup. Myself and Jade, our drummer was Indian. Our bass player was Iranian.
Oh, wow.
And we just kind of, so we were like, it's a zoo. It's kind of a collection of all these different karmas,
But, considering that you had this huge mix of cultures, that band could have actually done something, like bringing in different styles of music and everything. That would have been really cool.
Yeah, we had a good run at it. We sold out some pretty big club, Bowery Ballroom, Mercury Lounge in the city. So,
cool.
You know, we gave it our best shot. And then,
so you did a lot of New York gigs, like New York City gigs, Manhattan, and all of that.
Yep. Yeah.
So are you touring
That's
now,
awesome.
Danny? Do you do a lot of tours, or are you focused on writing?
So I kind of got into a little bit of a hibernation over the winter, but I'm hoping to. So I haven't done shows for since probably about last fall.
Okay.
But I'm definitely trying to get some shows together. You know, local stuff around here, regional stuff. Hopefully, I can leverage some of this success with the charts and the album getting some traction. Turn that into a little, you know, get into a role, because I do love playing live.
Yeah.
And it's essential part of, you know, promoting the music and just getting myself out there.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I think you hit the nail on the head by talking about using the charts to leverage gigs and things like that. A lot of musicians nowadays, at least the older musicians, they haven't figured out that the charts now is more like a marketing thing, you know, rather than you get on the charts and you go, oh, I'm a millionaire now because I hit the charts. You know what I mean? It's like the charts is more, you get on the charts and then doors open in terms of radio, digital playlists, gigs in pubs and whatever. When you go, hey man, I hit the charts in the UK or in America or whatever. And a lot of independent artists don't realize how they work, how you've got to work it out. It's a marketing thing. It's all about marketing. And when an artist knows that, it's so good to see, you know, they understand what they're doing, because you have to grow with the industry, isn't it? So like in 2002 or 2003, when I did hit the charts and I was signed to Sony and Times Music, it was a different thing, you know, hitting the charts and, you know, it was like, now with the independent scene, it's just completely different. Completely, yeah. So what are you working on now? Are you working on a new album aside from Pieces of Me? I mean, that's doing really well, obviously. But is there anything coming up in the near future?
So I mean, I'm always writing.
Okay.
And just you know, have fortunately a good amount of songs kind of, you know, on the back burner that I'm always working on, and new stuff.
Oh, that's great.
And I definitely hope to. I actually been recently in contact with the producer of Pieces of Me, Art Ward, who has a company called Century Music Group down in Nashville, which is where I recorded this.
Oh, okay.
And and so we discussed starting to maybe get some songs in the hopper, start listening to them for potential, you know, follow-up to this, which I can't wait to do.
I think it's time, man. I think it's time to do that now.
Yeah.
Get the next one going, keep the momentum going, you know what I mean? But the thing is, what I want to touch upon is how long it takes an independent artist, right? When you make a great album, and then for me at least, you know, as an independent act now, it takes me a year, 2 years to promote all the songs of that album completely around the world, touching each. You don't have that kind of money like a major label, you know, to hit every country simultaneously. But I do have fans in all the countries, so I do have to travel and do tours and things like that. How long does it take you to really promote one proper EP or an album? Do you do it quick? Do you really focus on trying to get to every nook and cranny, so to speak?
You know, I wish I had a system. That would probably be better.
Yeah.
But, you know, like you said, you know, I have a job, a real full-time job that unfortunately does take, you know, time away from the music. I wish I could dedicate 100% of my time to that.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think, you know, I try to, you try to push it online and through social media, try to get out there in front of people, and let it grow organically as much as it can.
True.
And then, you know, trying to forge partnerships, which, you know, hopefully what you guys have been doing to help out with the radio show and those promotions and all that, like making those kind of connections definitely helps, you know, helps to reach into areas where I might not be able to get to, or probably wouldn't be able to get to by myself.
It's great working with WOA, isn't it? It's freaking great.
Yeah, so far I have no complaints.
I love it, man. I mean, we meet certain artists that we've never heard of before, and all of a sudden they're like hitting the Billboard charts, they're hitting the Grammy ballots, things like that. Things that an independent artist doesn't know how to navigate, in the industry. And I'm so glad that I started WA like as a recording studio back in 1998, and it only sort of So I used all my major label contacts and Viacom and MTV and all of that, and I said, why not use all this to support independent artists like me, who it took me 20 years to really navigate the whole sort of industry. And now I'm so happy that we've got this entire team. Each and every one in the company, by the way, is either a musician, a filmmaker, or in the entertainment business, So it's really cool. And so many of them are Grammy voting members. And so you've got that sort of, what would I say, that sort of power behind you. Like when you work with, not only do you have like musicians supporting you, so musicians supporting musicians, but at the same time, these guys who've got that sort of experience in the music industry and helping independent musicians with a fierce sort of focus, the anti-mainstream. We're anti-mainstream because most of us have had a bad experience. Like we've had major label deals. Don't get me wrong, great and good money and all of that. But like a lot of us have had to go to court to get our rights back. And I'm glad to say WOA is a team of the right people, man. I'm really happy to see the success you're getting, because when I heard your song, immediately I was like, this guy, propose something to this guy. He's good. This is good music. So what else have you done, Danny? I mean, aside from Pieces of Me, I've never heard of you before, and now all of a sudden you're all over the place. So is there like a past catalog we can listen to?
I have some older stuff on Spotify. I have so I did a single during COVID, which was kind of like a tribute song to first responders.
Oh yeah.
I have a cousin who's a phenomenal musician, producer who lives out in LA, and I recruited his help. And I had musicians kind of from all over the world, track, because we couldn't do anything, obviously, in person.
Yeah.
So I actually used to live in Italy for a long time. So I had some guitar players send some tracks, a drummer from Italy. I was able somehow to recruit the Harlem Gospel Choir to sing some backup tracks on it.
That's amazing. What's the song called?
Don't ask me how that happened.
What's this song called?
It's called Thank You.
Thank you. Well, we got to play this song on the show, man. We got to source that out. You got to send over the track. We'll play it maybe on the next show. Let's space out Danny Marcus. Let's not give everything at one time. Let people keep listening to different music from you, man. I think you deserve to be sort of kept on air for a long, long time, brother. It's really good shit.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
And how many do you play different instruments, or are you only a singer?
Just acoustic. Just acoustic. Basically,
singer-songwriter style.
Exactly. Accompany myself with acoustic. I never really got into the whole electric guitar soloing. It was never kind of my thing,
Okay, the reason I'm asking about guitars is because I don't know if you know, but I'm crazy about guitars, right? So I spent all my money on bloody guitars. It's terrible. It's a bad habit, but I love it. I'm not going to stop. So what acoustic guitars do you play? What acoustic guitars do you own, I should say?
So I just got one. It's a Guild.
Okay, I like Guilds,
I've had since God knows when.
You know what? Those are the best sounding guitars. The more you play an acoustic, the better it starts to sound.
Yeah. It's great. It's my, sometimes I think it's my best friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I've been kind of in the market for a new one, just because it's a little beat up. Maybe I'll ask you for advice. I've been looking at Taylors because I find they're so easy to play.
Okay.
But Taylor, Martin.
Okay.
It's tough. There's a lot of great guitars out there.
Well, you can ask me because I literally own all of them. So I have a couple of top end Taylors. I've got the Martin D42 that they call the snow leopard of guitars, because you hardly ever find that model, the D42. You get the D45 and the D41, but if you get the D42, you just buy it. I mean, it's expensive as hell, but it's worth every penny. Right. But the Taylor, as you said, Taylor is a very good live guitar for stage. A Martin is a lifetime guitar that you mic when you're recording a song. Right. You get the right sound out of a Martin when you mic it. A Taylor, you can sound fantastic just plugged in, like an Ovation. You can plug it in, and they just have these body sensors and all of that shit, all the modern stuff that can make it sound great, and it gets the sound of the guitar as well, rather than just the piezo. Okay, look at me going all freaking technical with you now. Because the thing is, I'm planning on a new show called Oliver's Gas, right? Now, gas means gear acquisition syndrome. Okay, now that's what it means. It's like guys like me who go nuts about gear, like guitars and recording equipment and motorbikes, and so I've got a lot of friends who are like me. Okay, I'm hoping to pull you in, man. Get you into guitars, get you buying acoustic guitars now. Listen, you're getting on the charts, man. You can afford it now. You can go buy guitars, man. You can do it.
That's all right.
Trust me, once you get into it, you're going to love it, and you're going to hate me for it because you're going to spend a lot of money on it, but you're going to love it at the same time. Trust me.
But I love the guitar. If it ends up with a beautiful new guitar in my hands, it's well worth it.
It's well worth it. The thing with guitars, another thing though, I've got these, like every season, rather, I'll have a guitar and I go, this guitar gave me that album that hit the Billboard charts. And this is for the acoustic guitars, It's always an acoustic guitar that gives me my songs. And it'll be one album. Like, for example, I wrote the Devil in Blue Jeans album on this weird guitar that I bought from Ovation. And it was a D-scale guitar, right? So a D-scale guitar is like a baritone guitar, but it's literally just one scale lower than the regular guitar. So when you're playing, say, for example, when you're playing a G, it's actually an F for everybody else in the band. So you end up writing a song in a chord that you would otherwise not write in, because you're thinking that you're playing in G or a D or a C or whatever, but it's actually a B flat or an F or whatever. And then the band plays in a different way, and the songs just turn out different, And like that guitar, I'll never sell that guitar because it gave me one of my best albums I've ever written, and it was that guitar, So I've got these special guitars. Go on.
Yeah, no, I'm a firm believer that there are songs in each guitar.
Yes! You said it, man. You freaking said it. Yeah, absolutely.
That's why, when I pick up a friend's guitar or something like that, or borrow it or something like that, like a song comes out of that and this may be true or not, but it feels this way, that I wouldn't have been able to write on my instrument.
No, it's true, man.
That song wasn't there.
It's totally true. It is totally true. You don't have to think about it. It is true. Yeah. And also, the oldest guitar you have, that's got a very special connection. Like your Guild, I've got an Ovation that I bought when I was 19, right? And it's called Cindy, after Cindy Crawford. I was crazy about Cindy Crawford when I was a kid. And I thought she was the most beautiful woman in the world. And she is, to be fair. And I call my guitar Cindy. And this is my most absolute favorite. It's not the most expensive guitar I own. I own guitars worth thousands now. But that guitar, a Korean-made Ovation guitar, is literally my favorite guitar in the whole wide world. I wrote my first album on it, and so many things. It's just amazing. Your Guild, man. Awesome. You got to protect that guitar. I'll tell you got to protect it.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. Well, that's staying with me. I would never trade it in or anything.
Exactly. Don't even think about it
for the long haul.
Oh my God. Yep. Yeah. Nope. So, and I'll tell you what. When you're ready to buy a new guitar, you call me before you buy it. Okay.
All right, you bet.
And Danny, you want to plug in your website and social media and stuff like that to our fans so they can go check you out?
Yeah, follow me on Danny Marcus Music on Facebook or Danny Marcus 14 on Instagram. Visit my website, www.dannymarcusmusic.com, and obviously follow me on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes. I'm everywhere you need to find me.
Are you on Twitter as well?
I'm not on Twitter.
Okay.
Or TikTok, so I guess I'm not everywhere.
Okay, but tell me something. Why have you called your username Danny Marcus 14 on Instagram rather than Danny Marcus Music?
It's a good question, because I need to change it.
You need to change it now, brother. You need to change it now. I'm telling you.
I know.
Yeah.
It's got to be the same across all
It
the
has to be.
platforms.
That's one thing. Before I end an interview, right, I'm always telling the artist, go do it now. Put one name across the board. Especially now with you hitting charts in different countries, there are people going to go out like looking for you on Instagram. And if they don't find you as Danny Marcus, or rather Danny Marcus Music, they'll just move away. They'll just move on. They're so fickle nowadays.
Yeah.
The fans are so fickle. So you got to grab on that one chance you get. Don't let it go.
I think I signed up for Instagram in 2014. That was why.
Is that why it's 14? Right, folks, on that note, I'm going to give you Pieces of Me by Danny Marcus, the top 5 artists in the UK right now. Go check it out. If you haven't downloaded, please go download the album and save it on Spotify and Apple Music. Here we go. Danny, thanks for being on the show, my friend.
Thanks for having me, Oliver. Take care.
Take care. Here we go. Pieces of Me.
Myself in tape so I don't fall apart. A little glue and some paper clips, yeah, that would be a start. And all those things I've lost along the way are like a trail of crumbs. I thought they'd help me get back home, but now I just think it's dumb. But in the night, I will find all those pieces of me that I left behind. I
Somehow you know what you can't see. And through the window on the other side, a place where you and I roam free. And in a heartbeat I will follow you to the end of the time. The life of wisdom and of knowing why, and revelations upon thee. You know this story, don't hypothesize in the future growth of the shade tree. Eternal longing for the great sublime dream to fill what is empty. And in a heartbeat I will follow you to the end of the time. Starting today and again on tomorrow, watch the heavens reappear. The clouds shall pass, light will be all surrounded in the moment everlast. Eternal longing for the great sublime dream to feel what is empty. And in a heartbeat I will follow you to the end of the time. Starting today and again on tomorrow, watch the heavens reappear. The clouds shall pass, light will be all surrounded in the moment everlast.
She walks along in disbelief, the way her life has turned around. Her head's no longer in the clouds, feet firmly on the ground. She goes through life the best she can, loving her heart for a special man who's found another love she just can't understand. Now she cooks a meal for one, lies awake until the sun. She can't believe her dream has gone away. Not long ago her dream was there, her life complete without a care. His new love then came along, within a week he was gone. without a care. His new love then came along. Within a week, he was gone. Now she cooks a meal for one, lies awake until the sun. She can't believe her dream has gone away. Now she cooks a meal for one, lies awake until the sun. She can't believe her dream has gone away. Now she cooks a meal for one, lies awake until the sun. She can't believe her dream has gone away.
I've forgotten my name. No matter where I go or what I do, there she is again.